Going to be here in a few minutes. I just figured I would say hello and welcome everybody to the noon NBA preview, which is going to be followed by the NFL preview. I hope you guys enjoyed the live sweat last night. Came right down to the end for the $1 million. It was between it was between three guys, really. You had Shady Advice, who was near the top. I mean, he was at the top. And he had two guys that, at least as far as my analysis was concerned, were about 99% to blow right past him. And it was a struggle, actually. You had Sully Bro Chill and this other guy. Sully Bro Chill, he's a professional. He's Max Henry or whatever. And then you had this guy with one entry. And it came down to, in my head, which of them was going to pass Shady Advice. Well, I figured they're both past Shady Advice. And then it was going to be just kind of a 1v1, Capella versus Klay Thompson. And then what happened was it wasn't so easy passing Shady Advice, because what ended up happening was that Golden State, in their last game, there was a blowout, and everybody pulled all their guys. And it looked as though Shady Advice was actually going to hang on. But they put up a rebound for Sully Bro Chill, I think for Capella. So Sully Bro Chill ended up, winning the $1 million. And I reached out to him on Twitter as well. I mean, I have to say, I'm not going to lie. You always have to root for the guy with the one entry. You just have to. You have to root for the underdog. But if it's not going to be him, then may as well root for a guy who works really hard, who's really good at this game. It's too bad, because I know Shady Advice really needed the money also. So it was really it's really too bad for the guy with the one entry, if you want to know the truth. But I'm sure he's, I guess, kind of happy with winning whatever he won, the 40,000 or 100. I think he might have gotten 40 or 100. I forget which one. Yeah, Neil, you are going to get, the first T-shirt. I've heard the rumor that they're en route. We'll see about that. Yeah, Shady definitely. Although Shady also, if I'm not mistaken, he got second in that best ball thing. So I'm sure in his head, he's out. He lost like $3 million. But yeah, it is what it is. So we have NBA, we have NHL. We're not going to go over the NHL. I might a little later. Yeah, I think so, Neil. I think that they're going to be able to survive. We also have a pretty. Hopefully, we're going to have a cut sweat, because I have all kinds of good lineups of punts that. And this is the irony, right? That are relying on like a 9K guy to make the cut. And that 9K guy would be once future leader of the free world, Jason Day, who's entering the day at +2, probably needing a -4 total. So he's going to need a -6 on the easy course, but Data Golf only has him at 30% to make the cut. If he does make it, and obviously my other guys kind of hang on there too, then we're going to be off to a pretty good start. Let me just tell Bobby we started. Yeah, I'll be there in a second. We have League of Legends coming up as well. I'm going to try to get content for everything out today. I also did an atrocious job, and this is, listen, everybody struggles the same way, dealing with that live contest sim stuff and doing the analysis. So what I did was I remembered that I did a video with Jordan a couple of months ago of me struggling, and I had him walk me through it. I actually went back and I watched that video today that I did with him, where he showed me how I messed up the last time. Oh yeah, Neil. Almost every day. Now I have to say that they're very fragile, to say the least. But definitely, I mean, I love League of Legends is the best. I mean, it really is. Yeah, almost the best. That's true. All right, so let me. What I can do is I can at least get a start on what the slate is going to look like. How about that? We're going to do that. Oh, I didn't put the projections up Monday night. You know what you could do is, if you don't see projections up there, just go ahead and post in the Discord. I promise you I'm not going to see it and it'll be ignored, but at least it'll make you feel good that you tried. Hey, I could lie and say, hey, I'm always checking the Discord, and you post up there and I'll make sure to respond to it. But I'm not going to lie. It's not something, I don't check this probably as much as I should. But I will say this also, is that I don't put the sheets up. Yeah, it's not that I ignore you on Discord specifically. I just don't, you know what I mean? I just don't. I just ignore everybody, I guess. Yeah, that's the way best way to describe it. Nothing, nothing, whatever. I'm just, just busy with other stuff. All right. Let's take a look at the setup here. So we have, wow, this is a pretty cool setup, because you have 7 to 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, then the stupid 2 10 o'clock games. I thought they were going to get these off of the main slate. I guess they didn't want to put the 5. I guess they didn't want to put the 5, make it just a 5-gamer. And what's also pretty cool, if I'm not mistaken, is that I think the top 2 totals are in the first 2 games, like Utah, Washington, and Philadelphia, Indiana. We'll confirm that. Let's look up over here. So Philly, Indiana's got 237, and then Utah, Washington, 247. And then it's week. Okay, Sacramento, Golden State is good, and that's not till 10 o'clock. So there are really 3 main games. There are really 3 main games as far as totals go, and 2 of them are early and 1 of them are late. And again, it begs the question: is should we be? And I still don't know the answer. Should we be artificially overweighting the later games because of how flexibility matters? Again, even though I don't know how much flexibility matters, I know it matters somewhat. So that question has been put to me by myself. There's another issue which is going to come up. I can't. It's pretty funny, Neil. How old's your daughter, Neil? She's young. You have a young daughter. Mine are all grown up. I got one more big bill though. Actually, my son is applying. Oh, that's awesome. I got a good one for you, Neil. I got two good little kid stories before we get into this. Sorry about this, guys. Sorry. But my son is applying to law school, so that's what's another 200,000 or something. So I got to win. That's for sure. But when we first had our kids, my wife, well, actually before that, we had a friend who had an infant, and she was telling us that, I can't wait. My wife says, well, my husband and I, I'm getting my in-laws to babysit, so we're gonna get a hotel and such. And I said, oh, that's cool. You're gonna get a hotel. You finally get whatever. She says, no, forget that. We just want some sleep. So that your priorities kind of launch a little bit. And here's Mr. Bobby. We were talking about dad life for a few minutes.
Oh yeah, I missed all that.
Neil's got a 19-month-old, so we have to get an extra small jersey for the infant as well. We got to put an infant line together as well. And what I was going over, I went over last night in the Millie Maker and stuff like that. I just started to talk about this slate, at least from a setup perspective. And what I mentioned, and then we can get into it, is that the three highest total games, it's kind of weird. Like, two of them are the first two games on the slate, Philly, Indiana, and Utah, Washington. And then the next best one is all the way at the end at like 10 o'clock, being like Sacramento, Golden State. So it does provide a little bit of an interesting bit of context, something to plan. But I guess we should just kind of get started and just get right into the games.
Yeah, why not? Sorry about the delay.
No, perfect.
Yeah. All good to go.
So I have literally the first. Well, I have Philly at Indiana first. So we may as well do that one.
Okay.
And then the biggest game, at least for me, is the Utah game. So in the Indiana game, I am getting Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Maxey as far as pretty decent, even like point per dollar plays. And then obviously Embiid is going to project, 6 points higher than everybody else, including Jokic, by the way. So yes, if you can get to Embiid, you should try to do it. And we had this discussion during the live sweat, for quite a while yesterday, about some of the ceilings that these guys can put up. If the slate breaks in a way that gets you, two, I think that Bobby was saying two value pieces, but it depends on how great the value is. But if you end up getting two, to get these guys in, you should probably just do it, just because I think the way you put it is like the difference between the ceilings between like the top guys and then the sort of top guys is just really, really big,
well, even just more the median ceiling, you know what I mean? Not the ultimate ceiling, just like they're going to get 60s and 70s. They're going to have 6x their price almost all the time. So trying to get them in, I think, does become a priority, like a big priority. And that's, I really do think that the same thing is true tonight with Embiid. But if you can't get to Embiid and we don't get that value, I think you play Maxey. I think that's the way you treat this kind of one.
He's pretty cheap, Maxey.
Yeah, it seems very affordable, and you have a very cheap on the other side in terms of what he's been priced, Siakam. I think that's a natural thing to run. And as of right now, I actually have Halliburton as out.
I have him as out for sure. I mean,
yeah. So if you have Halliburton as out, something feels a little bit off. Like Siakam's price feels a little bit too cheap. So I like the Siakam part of this a lot. And as I mentioned last time, it looked like I was going to be a genius, and then I wasn't. I just was fine. But Mathurin, I thought, was an interesting tournament play, and I think you could sort of just make the case for all the indie guys. If I had to pick one, it would be Mathurin or Heald. Totally fine with McConnell though too. Now that everyone's jumped off it, it's kind of funny how that works, huh? Even on a giant slate like the other night, everybody's all into McConnell. And now no one wants to play him. Anyway.
So the next game, actually, it's so funny. I just fell victim to my own problem that you faced all the time. I started with the SaberSim build, the SaberSim screen, and SaberSim had the different order. So I went for the Philly first. Now I got to go back to Utah, Washington. which is fine. This is where all the mid-range value specifically is coming from. You know, you're getting. I mean, as far as my sheets go, point per dollar wise, you're getting Markkanen, Sexton, Clarkson, right at the top of the list, and then Chris Dunn, if you want to go for value, he's at 3,900, and then all the other guys too. I mean, honestly, all the bigs. I mean, Collins looks good, Olynyk 3,600, and then boy oh boy, they really made Kessler under 5K. They did it. They totally did it. Yep. So all these Utah guys look really, really good. And I guess the question that I'm going to ask you is, which you're really, really good about is, if you play multiple Utahs, would you demand or at least prefer like a Washington run back? And we talked about it a little bit. We were looking at the slate early last night when your first instinct, forgetting about the slate, was like, well, my first instinct is that Utah's going to win. That was right. your first thing. So if you're going to play too many Utahs, you're probably going to want to hope the game stays close enough to play like a Kuzma or a Poole or somebody. So it's obviously going to be one of the more popular games, and it's right off the hop. So it's a good one for me to play if I'm going out.
Yeah.
So what do you think here?
I think it's always weird when 8 guys from one team who has a 10-man rotation are projected to be double-digit owned. That just doesn't seem right. And something about the Utah ownership just feels like a little fishy to me. Even like Kessler's getting ownership today, because I don't know, man, that makes me, I guess, do I like my play better from the other day that I played them? Okay, this is stop it, guys. Yeah, I'm having a hard time. Again, I don't play Clarkson on the road. Sometimes, once or twice a year, maybe that bites me. But Clarkson off the bench on the road, everybody looks like a good play, and I just feel like this feels fishy to me. I don't really know how else to say it. I think that maybe the simplest answer is the Dunn Fontecchio because they're cheap, and then maybe some Sexton would be my next one. Maybe Markkanen. It's a good matchup for all of them. Right now, I just have everybody rates to be sort of similar. But I think Sexton, Markkanen, and then the 2 value pieces with Dunn and Fontecchio would be my favorites, I guess.
So I think one of the reasons why, again, that all these guys are projected like decently owned is, again, with the exception of that Sacramento Golden State game and the Philadelphia game we talked about earlier, the rest of the game environments just seem pretty ugly,
Yeah.
So I think that's just more naturally people are going to go to the high total games. But it makes perfect sense.
No, and it's a good game. I just can't figure out something So I guess Sexton, Markkanen, I mentioned the 2 value pieces with Dunn and Fontecchio, but nothing Kelly Olynyk taking a shot at 3,600 seems like it makes sense. There's so many things that make sense that it makes it hard to I struggled with this one today. I basically don't know what I'm doing with Utah. I think that it's probably going to be one of Sexton and Markkanen and one of the 2 value guys. I just don't know which ones yet.
Yeah, so now we get into the real boring stretch. These 3 7:30 games that have the lowest totals. We can do it whatever order you want. I'm finding it difficult finding much of anybody from any of the 3 games. So let's just look at it.
Yeah.
So Minnesota, Brooklyn, if we just went on my projections, the only thing that I'm really getting to, even in the top 30, really, is maybe Claxton. But it's got to be something better than that. And then Cat 8,200 is reasonable enough, but they're just better plays. Gobert, better plays. So listen, they're all. I think the whole game. I think all 3 of these next coming games are all going to be low owned. So I mean, you could certainly have that going for you, but game looks pretty ugly.
Yeah, just keep in mind that Conley probably. I think he's more likely to sit than not, and he's being projected. So
okay, that's something.
Well, it's just going to make the bad Neil Walker play again, Nickeil Alexander-Walker play again. It's fine to play it. I would probably do it again. It's just there's nothing good about this play. It's not like as I pointed out yesterday. This guy just you're asking. It's nothing. Actually, Mike Conley is probably the best play in this game if he does play. I like Nas. I think Nas Reed is the best tournament play from that game. That's what. And Dinwiddie. I don't care if he had a bad game the other day. Dinwiddie's 5,200. Both those guys would be my favorite pieces, and Cam Thomas would be my tournament dart. But I don't know why. Like Dinwiddie should be like a staple of your lineups. He's 5,200.
Oh, you like him? Okay.
I mean, it's just he's 5,200. Like it's probably 1,500 too cheap. He had a terrible game the other night. He's got a wide range of outcomes, I guess. But like if he just plays normal minutes, he's probably putting up 30 in his sleep.
How has Cam Thomas been doing recently?
Maybe not in sleep. It's just all over the place with him as always.
Yeah. I'm just saying if he's popped at all. Yeah, he's had a couple.
Yeah, he just has. You just never know. Could be any
Right.
one of them anytime.
Anybody at Minnesota at all, or
Um,
I mean, the top guys, even Edwards, or
well, I said like we just don't know if Conley's playing, so I can't really. As of right now, like he's being projected in. He's been projected in the last games too. He hasn't played, so why they would play him on a back-to-back in Brooklyn, I don't know. So my guess would be that he doesn't play.
Denver Knicks. Hartenstein is questionable now from out, so I don't know what's going to happen with him.
Mm-hmm.
If he is out again, then we could, we could try Ochua again at 4,500. You can play Sims if you want, but I wouldn't do that. I mean, we talked about this again yesterday. Like he's like 0.4%. For a center, he's probably got one of the worst fantasy points per minute of that position. So I don't like that. And again, the game is kind of gross. Now, if somehow you get, I mean, you will get Jokic's lower ownership. He'll be lower than Embiid, right? So
yeah.
I mean, there are games where Jokic scores 80 and Embiid scores 70, and that's possible.
Was that last year you're talking about?
Maybe, I guess. Yeah, I seem to remember them, but it was really accessing the long-term memory than anything else.
No, I was just kidding around.
But listen, the Knicks play slow. Boy, what do you do here? You take shots on the bench guys? Probably just a pass for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're going to get some ownership, with lack of value, Reggie Jackson at 3,800 because he's been playing.
Yeah, why not? Right?
Yeah, so 3,800. Yeah, sure. The Knicks side, it really just depends on Hartenstein playing. I still think that the price on Josh Hart is interesting, 4,300, interesting enough to just take a stab. But if Hartenstein's out, I would go back to Precious, like you mentioned.
Reggie Jackson revenge from all those World Series he won when he played in New York. Maybe that motivates him some way.
It's a really weird slate with the timing.
Yep. Speaking of which,
Boston,
Miami. I mean, visually, again, like you just look at my point per dollars and my sheets and stuff like that. The game just looks gross, So I will say that, correct me if my information is inaccurate, but you have Rozier, right? He used to play for Boston, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. New team, new revenge. I have no idea. I Rozier's last game with them, Rozier showed he played pretty good defense. That's what he showed.
That's what he does. He's a good defender.
That's what he showed. And this game kind of feels like a 99-96er. So I don't know. I'm probably going to let someone else play this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know what bets I'm going to end up getting up today. I love Miami in this spot. I really, really like. I think this is so they're 8-point underdogs at home. Sign me up, man. I think this is like the easiest bet of all time. I think that whatever, you live with the results, but I think Miami's going to win this game plenty of the time. They're 8-point underdogs at home. I really like Miami in this game. That's my biggest takeaway. I don't like anything DFS wise at the moment. I tried to look for some things. Tyler Hero, no problem if you end up there at 6,800. No problem with Tatum or Brown, just no interest. And again, I just want to emphasize, I think Miami wins this game most of the time, or a good portion of the time. They're 8-point underdogs. They've looked horrible. This is the perfect Miami's going to win this game spot. Okay.
All right. So then you get a little bit of a break. And then you have the last two games. We have Chicago, LA, and we also have Sacramento, Golden State. Now, Sacramento, Golden State has a much bigger total, and stuff can happen there. I'm seeing Sabonis is a very good play. Even it seems as though I didn't even realize that Draymond Green was back.
He's been back for a while. I mean,
I didn't even notice.
He's only played a couple games, but he's been back. I don't know if he'll play tonight, by the way. Like, it's a back-to-back.
Yeah, so there's Sabonis, and Malik Monk is showing up as a good point per dollar play tonight. This is one of those games. It feels like it's supposed to do something, but so anyway, so it'd be Sabonis, Malik Monk, I suppose Fox. Let me see what his price is nowadays. He's $9K. I guess it's all right. On the Golden State side, listen, at least they did rest the guys in the last 4 minutes or so. So I think they are. I think that everybody's going to. I think everybody's going to play for Golden State. If that means anything, but none of them are projecting all that great either. Really, really weird. Kuminga's up to 5,800. So that value might be gone. You know who didn't get the minutes that you might have hoped yesterday? Maybe he could do it tonight. Is maybe you go back to the guy we talked about yesterday, Dario Saric. He only played 16 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think there's room. You know what I mean? I think there's room for upside there. So I guess I'll ask you about that one since that was your invention yesterday.
I agree a little bit, but they're sort of like this. I don't think it was my invention. I think what was it 20% owned?
No. You invention mean you brought it up to me.
Yeah. I don't know what their rotations are like, to be honest with you. I don't think they know what their rotations are. This is a lost team that's trying to hang on to their whatever. I know Draymond only played 22 minutes, so he probably plays on the back-to-back. But to be honest with you, I don't think we can play any Warriors as long as this stuff keeps going on. The only one that, like Clay, sure, take a shot because he can hit a bunch of threes. Steph, sure, because he can hit a bunch of threes. There's nothing logical or rhyme or reason-y, or they're just sort of trying things because they're a terrible basketball team. Shockingly, they're only 2-point underdogs at home. They could be 10-point underdogs at home, and I wouldn't have batted an eye. This is just a really, really awful basketball team at this moment that's trying to find itself. So they're going to be playing around with things. That's not a good recipe for DFS. So I would skip Golden State. If there's anybody I'd play, it'd be Kuminga. And I would play from Sacramento. I think Monk and Sabonis are both decent, but my favorite play by far is Keegan Murray. It's interesting how we treat Malik Monk versus Keegan Murray. Often similarly priced right now, currently within 100 of each other at different positions. Monk plays the more desirable position, and because you see him with the ball and because everybody's seen him do his thing, I think it's just natural to assume that he's the one we should be playing. Just look at Keegan Murray's game log. There's a lot of wildness, which is exactly what you want in DFS, but this is the kind of matchup where Keegan Murray, and he's starting to find himself too. Second year, first round pick, number 7 overall last year. I think that Murray's like a really good tournament play, and I just want to play this guy more going forward in general, personally.
You want to try Kevin Huerter?
No.
Coming off of a stone dud.
Yeah, he went the superstar game, then the dud, then the superstar game. He's on that path again. No, I don't really like him, but I mean it's. Kevin Huerter just is always like a dart, if it was a really small slate, probably a really good guy to take a chance on because there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just feels like, okay, one night he puts up 50 and one night he puts up 5. I don't know.
All right, so Chicago, LA, this is 10:30, one of the two 10:30 games. And do you have any kind of feel if maybe, I don't know, they sat LeBron. Any chance they sit Davis for this game?
No, that wasn't sitting LeBron. He's hurt.
Oh, I don't know.
LeBron might sit.
You think LeBron might sit again?
If anybody was to sit, it would be LeBron. My guess is they both play because they need to win games, man. Like they're where are they right now? This Laker team, I don't understand these people. I don't know. It's been bothering me all year long. This Laker team was like the trendy offseason pick, and like nobody had them worse than third in the West. And what are they right now? Are they 11th? They're ninth. They moved up to ninth. Sorry, tied for ninth with Utah. They're 22-23. I don't know. I think they need to win games, which makes me think LeBron is more likely to play than not, I guess.
Hey, they won the thing, right? The in-season tournament.
Yeah, and they've been the worst team in the NBA since then.
It's the in-season. It's the in-season tournament jinx, apparently.
Well, they tried to use that as an excuse.
You got a 1 year sample size so far.
Oh man, you should be out here in LA. There was so much. LeBron is so full of. He's just a full of shit person. Sorry. So he just makes up like little things all the time. He's always saying, "Oh yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was. Oh, this." He's like one of those guys. But people were just like, "How much do you want to bet?" Says like after they win this, that LeBron's going to start complaining about the in-season tournament, and that's literally the first go-to. Oh, we had to put it all out on the line for that in-season tournament. Get out of here. Dude, you know what really is embarrassing though as a Laker fan? The Lakers have won 16 titles. Do you know what banner is hanging at the arena? The in-season tournament banner is hanging. Are you kidding me? We're the Lakers. We have an in-season tournament banner? Sorry.
I think that might have been direction from NBA people.
From the NBA, probably, but it's how ridiculous, right? I'm sorry, I just had to.
So one thing about this game, and I'm sure you brought this up before, is you have Mr. DeRozan coming home, right?
Yep.
So he usually whatever we like to say, he usually puts on a good performance at home. Back in LA. So I would so I think he would be my favorite of the Chicago guys for that reason. Patrick Williams is, he always plays the minutes. That's the good news, and he's always good for the 0.6 points per minute. Whatever. But I'll take a shot. I'll play some DeRozan.
Yeah, DeRozan and Patrick Williams I have high on my list. And if you're not going to play DeRozan, I think you should be playing Vucevic or Kobe White. I don't like this slate very much. I may not even play. But I promise you one thing: if I had to build one lineup, DeRozan would probably be in it right now. And if he wasn't, certainly Vucevic or Kobe White would be. I actually think Kobe White I like a little bit better than Vuce. By the way, I like Anthony Davis and LeBron tonight. In general, I don't like using bigs against Chicago, but these prices, I just feel like Anthony Davis should be more expensive. I know he didn't have the game we all wanted or I expected or wanted the other night. I think both these guys are totally in play here. I also think that Austin Reeves is so cheap. He's been terrible in real life, but I would get exposure to this game, actually.
It wouldn't be an NBA early look without Noah Rosen asking for me to do an NHL sim and me saying no. So let's just keep that. Keep the momentum going. I have a special treat for you, Noah. Just for you, not just for you. I was gonna do it anyway. I'm going to be doing a separate video for the NHL where I do an NHL sim. So you watch the YouTube channel, watch the Discord, and that will be coming up a little bit later. But what I did do is while we were waiting just now, I just ran a Saber sim build, and before I put it up here, I guess I'd like to kind of think about what I think it's going to say. Usually, when I think that it's going to be all middling. That what ends up happening is just some freaking punt that just ends up just taking all this ownership. I'm guessing that you're probably going to get a bunch of Chris Dunn or something like that. That's going to be my guess, but we'll see. You have anything, any lean for where do you think it's going to be?
It's just the weird. I was gonna if you asked me and I didn't look at anything, I would have just assumed Fontecchio would be popular because he just put up 1 million fantasy points the other night. And he's cheap, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So as of right now,
and there it is. There it is. I know my Saber sim. 82% Chris Dunn.
You definitely do know your Saber sim because
I know something like Bo knows hockey, Bo knows tennis. Eric does know his early Saber sim builds. That's for sure. All the Utahs pretty much, and then the Malik Monk, which is. which is I guess interesting. And they're all coming from these same games. They're all coming from those games. Oh, but there's your Dinwiddie. Okay, so he emerged in there. Now the reason why Neil, I can't do the play-by-play for hockey on the next live sweat is because it's just so late. I mean, those NHL games don't end until like 1:30 in the morning. So I'm there's no way I'm staying up for that.
Right.
Well, one time I did, but NHL play-by-play is not. I mean, I would do it the best because I have no idea who the players are. It's the best. Okay. Yeah, I miss a TrueDFS live sweat as well. By the way, All right, hopefully we will get there one of these days.
Yeah. I just want to throw out some of my favorite plays from the slate. Just I really don't like this slate. I also think I need like a little bit of a breather outside after the playoffs because I don't know, man. It's been a really rough 6 weeks. But if you're able to spend up later, if we get any value, Embiid is like priority one for me. I think that Sexton. Your normal build would be Sexton, DeRozan, Dinwiddie, maybe either Dunn or Fontecchio as value. That would be like sort of like the core to build behind, I think. But I like that. I like that because it's nice and middling. Maybe you throw Malik Monk in that mix as well. If you're not playing Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Davis, then LeBron, Keegan Murray, just some names that I like a little bit today. I just want to throw those out there.
Yeah, so here's the problem. Not the problem with the site. So here's the thing that I would love for the site to improve on. It's not the site, it's me. Well, it's not just me. Because I know Neil. Neil's on another, a bunch of other places and stuff. And the fact is that there are other sites that are just a lot more, active as far as Discord goes. And part of it is because there's a lot of people and stuff like that. But also a decent amount is from when the actual content providers are on there. And Neil and I were talking about this before you got on here, and I'm just the worst. I just am. I'm just not on as much.
Yeah, you're definitely the least active Discord person, but the most active live person.
I'm definitely just not so great with it, and I keep threatening to improve, but a lot of it does have to come from the subs themselves, and maybe we're not big enough to have that big of a thing, but I'm going to do my best. Yeah, I am, Neil, the woat. It's true. That's the first step is knowing where your strengths and weaknesses are. But we'll just see. Okay, so this is someone out here. Wait, who's out? Oh no, these just guys had zero projections on or whatever it is. But okay, so I'll try to do a little bit better. And I'm definitely gonna do that hockey thing for everybody. You just reply with funny gifs, or I'll try that.
So be live. I'll be live at 6 Eastern. But this is man, I'm having trouble finding what to do on this NBA slate today. But I actually do think look, we did revamp the Discord. I want to say that everything has totally changed. And anybody who is a member, it should be pretty fun and easy to use. And myself and Rhodey and Goldie are literally having conversations all day long in there. So I don't want to say that we're not an active Discord.
No, we're not. I'm bad.
No, I wasn't trying to. I was just saying.
I said it, not you. That's the thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of us but we really are trying to improve it. So anything we could do differently in Discord, Neil or anybody, let us know because we're happy to hear ideas and thoughts and. We're trying to revamp everything right now. So it's much more organized from our end, but maybe it's not as much fun. Let us know what we can do to improve the Discord. We're happy to try.
One thing that I am working on, by the way, is this playback TV thing. Mm-hmm. And that adds a little something to the live sweat and allows you to actually show the NBA games because you link your league pass to it. And it's actually an NBA product, the playback TV, I think. So it allows you to actually show the NBA games as you're sweating, which is interesting.
Yeah, that makes it's interesting. So are we going to do football next?
Yes, we are.
All right, perfect. All right, guys, good luck, and we'll see you at 6.
All right, sounds good.